Or afternoon, Dwayne.
Thank you.
Nice to be back on home soil, I'd imagine.
Yeah, it is. It is certainly cooler here anyway. But yeah, I think that obviously nice to get home. It was always going to be a difficult trip first up to go to Africa, to be honest. And I think that, we obviously the results were the results. We can't shy away from that. But I think we learned a lot about a few of the players and from our perspective, always 2 weeks in Africa, off the field, you tend to come back tight. But obviously disappointed with the results, is the honest truth. I think that there was certain elements of a game that we obviously weren't up to standard on, but for some of the young boys who travelled with us, it was an invaluable experience, and I think long term it'll be very good for them, because when you look at the physicality that they encountered, we knew that was coming, but until you match that, there was some, the Bulls and the Storms have real strength and depth in their squads. And it just, it's just a reminder to boys who are the level when you do travel to Africa that you have to accept and you have to be at. And I think that, we weren't there, is the truth of it, but, long term, we will be. And I think that's got to be our aim, and I think that, we played the Bulls side here a couple of months back and won that game, and I thought that night we were really at it physically, and we obviously had a few experienced players within the team then, but it's important for those young guys to realise that we have to step up in that area.
With regards to the learnings, and obviously you say about the youth and experience, finding that balance, have you sort of changed any of your training this week in regards to what you've taken from the last 2 weeks? No, I don't. Not for this week. Obviously, we didn't arrive back until early hours of Monday morning, so it's a short week, really, 6-day turnaround. So we haven't got much training on the field this week. It's about getting recovered and getting things right for this week. This that sort of goal of obviously you talk about going to Africa, and I think that goal of being there and really competing and being physical and taking out chances when they apply themselves, that is the goal. We have to strive for that, and for our senior members of the team or more experienced members, as that's obviously we can do that. The younger boys, it's an appreciation for them, and they need to know that next time we go there, they'll be better for it. So that's it really. We take the learnings. Look, there's parts of the game as well we were good at. First couple of games of the season, and I think that we'll be better for it next couple of weeks, definitely. I know you mentioned after the game that you were looking to question CMO on that tackle on Joe Roberts. Have you got any updates?
Yeah, look, the feedback is that it should have been looked at. So that's where we're at with it, really. Obviously, at the time, we felt strongly that it should have been looked at. Whether it changed the course of the game, I'm not sure, but it was early in the game, and it's player welfare, and we've been on the other side of it when we've had incidents and been reprimanded there. So it's obviously that's the frustration. But look, it's been and gone. It's been dealt with. So we'll hopefully that next time, touch wood, that doesn't happen again. But if it does happen, then it'll be dealt with appropriately.
And I mean, now you're in a position where going into this Saturday, some of your best players from South Africa aren't available to you because of the Wales Barbars game. Just how unhelpful is that? Oh, it's obviously unhelpful. I think that, post World Cup, you always look forward to having your squad together. We had 5 altogether, if you include Kieran, 2 Tongan boys as well. So, it'd be nice this week to have everyone back, especially for a derby. I think, from a spectacle as well. We play derby games. You want your best squads available, and that isn't the case this week. And so look, it's frustrating. It was frustrating when this fixture was announced. Obviously, there's obviously for the union a commercial value but we lose out on the commercial value as well. But I suppose it is frustrating. That's the bottom line. It would be great to have everyone back available this week. And on that commercial element, I guess, are you expecting it to affect then stadium attendance? Well,
I don't know. To be honest, I don't know what the ticket allowance attendance is, but you've got away sport in Cardiff. The game's in Cardiff. You know, there's going to be young kids for us wanting to go to the stadium and watch Wales, and that's great. You know, that's what it should be. Everyone should want to go and watch Wales play, but you know, we as Scarlets want our fans here as well, because we know how important they are to us, and there's a great atmosphere here for us when there is a good crowd at the stadium. So look, it's all affected, isn't it? You know, and I think that from squad to fans to the atmosphere, etc. So look, we know there'll be a faithful number here, and I'm sure they'll be loud for us on Saturday.
Fitness wise, who do you have available to you? Who don't you have available to you?
Well, it's a bit of a mixed bag, really. I think we picked up a few knocks in Africa. Ryan Elias isn't back yet from his. We're expecting Gareth Davis to be okay this week. So looking forward. He's been obviously good to get back in the mix. Having lost Kieran to the Wales camp, to have someone of Gareth's experience back in the group is great. There's a couple of other boys we're just doing last minute checks on tomorrow. Boys who've been out for a long time, Josh McLeod, for example. But Steph Evans will be close to being back. He's been up for a while, so looking forward to getting him back as well in the group. I think he'll add a bit of quality, obviously, and Vifafita is off suspension now from his red card in the World Cup.
So Steph Evans will be available?
He should be available, yeah.
Okay, fantastic. And what's the latest on Ken Owens' return?
We haven't got a date, is the truth.
Do you expect him to return?
I think that with Ken, obviously, it's been a long, dragged out, complex rehab for him. What I do know about Ken is if it's an opportunity for him to return, you know, he will give everything, similar to how he had his last back operation, you know. And I think, you know, there was a lot said at the time. I know for Ken, it's about getting healthy and making sure that he's available when he's ready, really. You know, there's no pressure on him from that perspective from us. You know, we respect what he gives us as a club, both on and off the field. But, you know, I haven't got a return date for you. It won't be in the near future.
Wyn Jones, I see you've been playing him as more of a tight dead than a loose head, perhaps his usual position being a loose head, of course. Is that where you see him in this season? Do you have a preferred position for him?
Look, I think he's one that we spoke to towards the end of last season around, you know, with squad numbers, etc., and where we are in our profile of our front row, having someone who could swing both left, loose and tight. I think that's obviously very handy for any squad. You know, you look at Leinster, for example, with Cian Healy, who can do both, who has progressed to do both, and you know, we spoke to Wyn about it, and he was keen to explore it and to add another string to his bow. You know, obviously, you know, if he can be able to operate on both, it's massively valuable for us, and also for him as well. You know, and I think that, you know, he's given it a go. He's keen to do it, and you know, we obviously with Samson being out as well, it's been probably forced upon him a bit. But in credit to him, he's actually really enjoyed it, and I think that you know, he's been great in his application towards it. So look, my answer is I don't necessarily see him fully as a tight dead or you know, yet, but we definitely want to play him there. You know, to answer your question, he's got the ability to play loose and tight depending on where we feel we need them and where that you know, opportunity arises for him, really.
And how is he more generally? Because clearly he's gone from being one of the best in the world to starting member of Wales squad, so not being selected to the World Cup, and now being amongst the replacements of the Scarlets. How is he?
Yeah, look, I think for us, it's about we have to rotate our props this year. We haven't got as many, you know, and I think that we know that there's going to be times in the season where he's going to play a lot of rugby, similar to the other props we had: Kemsley, Harry O'Connor, Sams, Steph Tom. You know, so I think that for us, it's about getting the balance right of when and where we use him. I think combinations is important as well. You know, who he plays with, what front row go up against whoever. You know, so I think that Obviously, not having Ryan as well is a big factor. Not having Ken is a big factor in the front row. So, look, I don't necessarily see him as a replacement. I think that's not where we see him. I think he's a really important member of the squad. And the nature of props these days, it's normally a 50-30 split anyway. So there'll be times where he's on the other side of it. So I think that Kemsley Mathias has really stepped up over the last year for us. Put himself in the Wales squad, and he's a good athlete, young kid as well. So we're quite fortunate to have both of them, as well as Steph Thomas, because I think when he's played for us, he's been very good as well.
It's like to have that Wales call up and continually have those ambitions. I assume it's no different for Wyn Jones, but do you think perhaps he'd be concerned that maybe playing at tight head rather than loose head will affect his chances of that? Well,
maybe, or it might add to it. So I think that we have to take the opinion, or I've taken opinion with him, it's a good opportunity for him to add that string to his bow. And I think that in any squad you can only have a certain number of players. I think that being able to play both sides, is big. You've seen it with Frank's brothers in New Zealand. You've seen it with different props around the world. And if you can, Ian Healy's another one is a good example of it. If you can play both sides, then it gives him an advantage when it's a 50-50 call somewhere.
Yeah, it makes sense to be more adaptable, as you say, and when you've got a young squad, it's good to have that experience. Welsh Derby, though, on Saturday, it's generally a good spectacle to have the Welsh Derby. Are you excited on the whole? And secondly, what have you made of Cardiff so far this season?
Well, I'm definitely excited about it. Obviously, it's a case of getting back home and playing these games. I think if you looked at our games against Cardiff over the last years, they've been very good games. And I think they've been close, and we've managed to perform quite well in them. What I made of Cardiff, obviously, a big change in their coaching group, with Jockey coming in as the head and Mellon coming back, or Gethin Jenkins coming back as D coach, and you can see his characteristics already in the team. He's an uncompromising player. And I think he's brought that level of intensity and steel to them. And I'm sure they've got some good athletes. I think the pre-season game we played against them, I thought they had some good athletes in the back row, some good young kids coming through. And I think that they'll be a tough team definitely. I think Thomas Young coming back as well in the mix for them. That's huge for them to add that level of steel and intensity and what he brings as well. So I think he's a great player. I think he's a very good player. So look, they're a good side. This side really hasn't. The starting team hasn't changed that much. If you look at it in reality, they've had a lot of departures similar to us. And I think that they'll come here, and obviously big win for them last week. I felt they've done well against the Dragons over the last couple of years, but I felt that they had a bit of edge about them, and they won ugly on the weekend. And I think that I think they did the same when we played down here last year. We dominated the territory and the possession of the game, but they stuck in there and they were combative and they managed to get over the line. So I think that type of game, we've got to be ready for. And I think that we've spoken about that, and we're excited about that because that's it. And it's derby games, you've got to be right up for it. And I think that so I'm looking forward to seeing the boys fly into that first game at home for us. So it's a big one. Thank you very much, Diolch.
Can I just ask for Samson?
Yeah.
Him coming back?
Similar to Ken, really. But Samson's close to the play. He trained today, obviously. So I think that hopefully we'll see him over the next couple of weeks. I don't know when that's going to be, is the truth. But he's a lot more down the line. And I think that, he trained today. So we'll see how he reacts to that. It's been a long process for him as well. And 18 months, something like that. So I think that, he had a bit of a relapse in the summer over his injury, but great guy, great squad man. Can't speak highly enough of him because his work off the field. He drives standards, and he's, when when he trains, you definitely notice a difference. That's the truth. I think in the group, because he drives standards and he wants people to work and improve. So good man, and I hope hopefully now his leg will settle and we can see him on the pitch again. But there's a bit of work to do there, and hopefully everyone's behind him, and if he can do it, then great. Iawn. Diolch yn fawr. Oedd hi'n galed, oedd hi'n amlwg yn brofiad anodd ar y degau i roi bod ni'n i gyd fel garfan mas na. Dim yn mas na, a'r boes oedd mynd hyn hefyd a pobl oedd mynd hyn. Byddai'n teimlo bod ni wedi cael disg mewn rai ardaloedd o'r gêm, a felly i'r boes ifanc sy'n y garfan ni, mae'n bwysig bod nhw'n cymeryd y gwersi ni di cael a gwybod beth yw'r safon, chi'n bod? Yn wedi gymsach chi'n mynd i Africa, fe gedi bod y safon o chwarae a swafon o fod yn gorfforol yn un enfawr, a felly mae'n bwysig bod ni'n gallu ymdopi a ymateb i hwnna. Chi'n bod, na beth mae'n ni'n mynd o'r gêm, oedd y sgôr yn ddim yn un ffafriol o gwbl, chi'n edrych ar fe, a mae'n teimlo fel, ond eto gyd, mae rhaid ni cymeryd y pethau ni gallu mas o'r gêm, a na beth sy'n bwysig i fi. Bod ni'n dysgu a bod ni'n ymateb yn gloi a bod ni'n symud mlaen yn gloi.
Ond lot o sôn i bod yn dweud taco na o'r Roberts. Beth yw'r diweddara o ran chi?
Mae'n gwybod ni wedi cwestiwn pham oedd e wedi cael ei edrych ar y TMO, a nhw wedi dod nôl a gweud bod nhw'n dylse fe wedi cael ei edrych arno. Felly mae hwnna'n amlwg yn siomedig i ni, achos yn gyntaf mae'n ni edrych ar ôl y chreuwyr. Yn ail, bod ni wedi cael sawl TMO yn mynd yn gerbyn ni, a felly mae fe'n collon ni Joe Roberts, diolch beth oedd e'n iawn ar ôl pasod HIA, ond mae rai bod ni'n ffili colli, mae'r gêm ffili ffwrddi i gadael sefyllfa fel lai fynd.
Gennych chi gêm fawr iawn gym cyntaf tymor yn yr hyn Caerdydd. Beth ydych chi ddeud yn iawn?
Mae'n edrych mlaen i'r gêm. Mae'r gêm wedi bod yn gêm gyffroes, gêm agos dros y blynyddoedd diwethaf. Felly, mae nhw'n tîm ar fyned sydd bod ni'n colli ben y ton mi cedi. Oedd y gêm erbyn dreigiau y penwythnos, o'n nhw'n gorfforol a nhw'n digon ymladd yn eu gêm nhw a eu tîm nhw. Felly, edrych mlaen i'r gêm, mae fe'n gêm enfawr i ni yn amlwg, gêm gytre, a ni moyn dechrau ar pencampwriaeth i ni o ddifri gytre wrthos hyn, chybod. Na beth yw'r nod i ni, mae'r gêm y darbys wastad yn bwysig, a na beth ni moyn neud, chybod, ni wedi siarad bod hwnna wrthos hyn, a mae'n bwysig bod ni'n dechrau ennill y gêm yna'n rheolaidd.
Dwi'n dweud bod y darbu bwysig i chi fel carfan am rhwystredig i felly bod yn bod y trefnu yn y darpariaeth gyntaf gen chi o fewn awr yn ola ydy nhw?
Mae'n hynod o rhwystredig i fod yn onest, achos i moyn cael y chreuwyr nôl. Dim ond Cymru i raddau sy'n war y gêm yn awr. Mae pawb arall yn mynd nôl iddi ranbarthau, iddi clwbau ag ati. Felly mae'n rhwystredig yn amlwg fi'n deall rai agweddau o'r ochr ariannol, ond mae fe'n effeithio pawb ydw eich. Mae'n effeithio ni fel garfan, mae'n effeithio ein cefnogwyr ni, cefnogwyr Caerdydd hefyd. Ni moyn cael y chlysur arbennig fan hyn, ond mae pawb yn siarad wedi rygbi Cymru ag ati, ond mae'n bwysig os ni'n gallu dangos yn gorau ni, mae cael y torf, mae cael y chlysur arbennig, mae'n bwysig bod ni'n gallu neud ni, a fi'n credu bod dim cael y chwaraewyr gorau chwaraewyr ymwladol ar gael i roi dîm yn hynod o siomedig.
Chi'n olau beth yw'r diweddariaeth yn un o'r ran a chwaraewyr ymwladol a chwaraewyr sydd ar gael?
O ran chwaraewyr ymwladol ni, mae fai ffita nôl o'i Garden Goch yn gerbyn yr Alban yn cwpan y byd. A mae Garth Davies nôl gyda ni. Dwi ddim wedi cael dewis i garfan Cymru, so byddai nôl gyda ni wrthos hyn. Ryan Leias ddim cweit yn iawn ar ôl anaf cwrdd yn erbyn yr ariannau. Ond byddai ddim bell off, gobeithio wrthos nesaf yn wrthos ar ôl ni. Hyblaw am ni, amlwg wedi colli tein A Tommy, Kieran, pwy arall ath, o'r Johnny Williams, Castello amlwg yn y garfan fel maddi, chybod, felly, mae corter yn tîm ni wedyn, mwy na trydydd o tîm ni wedi mynd myna, felly, chybod, mae hwnna'n anodd, ond mae boes gyda ni, a maen nhw'n moyn ware, a maen nhw'n edrych mlaen i'r gêm ddarbu mawr.